He's a meathead. He's bad at podcasting. He was a bad fighter. If I post a truck, did you flip it? The standard right? The standard. None of it's original.
So Brendan Schaub finds himself in the familiar position of saying something about somebody on his podcast and getting roasted in return, this time courtesy of UFC lightweight contender Renato Moicano. And here's the thing, Schaub actually started out being somewhat in the right here, but as always, he was a little too colorful with his words, likely as an attempt to go viral, and his edgelord delivery offended Moicano, who then proceeded to eviscerate him on Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour, leading to Schaub losing a bit of his famous cool in a response video. And in this video, I'll go over the backstory and break everything down. It all started with Renato Moicano giving a very weird take regarding the UFC class action lawsuit, where he claimed to have rejected the $200,000 payout that was rightfully allocated to him out of principle, while comparing it to a situation that something like that should probably never be compared to.
You know how much I love UFC?
Yeah.
I did not pay the money that they sent to the fighters. The lawsuit, yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
that's
hold on. So they sent you a from the settlement. They sent you money and you didn't accept it.
Yeah, I just had to put my name over there. But
okay,
I did not
but when
take
they
it.
sent you the actual check, or you're saying you didn't sign it?
I did not sign it. They went through saying that UFC did not pay the fighters fair enough. But this is like, let's say, you get a girl today and you her, and like 2 years later he say, hey, the guy me.
It's obvious to anybody familiar with Moicano that saying this was his attempt to suck up to the UFC brass, as he was recently paid $250,000 to step in on short notice against Islam Makhachev, which according to Moicano increased to $950,000, likely as a result of also being given pay-per-view points. It's clear that he believes that this is the start of him becoming one of the UFC's needle movers and being paid accordingly moving forward. But being that he's 36 years old in the lightweight division and not exactly a household name yet, I, along with many other fans and UFC fighters, tend to disagree. With that said, there is a way of maintaining a respectful demeanor while telling somebody that they're wrong, a concept that seems to be foreign to Brendan Schaub, who often belittles people when commenting on their situation in a transparent attempt to add controversy to his words in order to get views, and naturally this was no different.
This is how stupid fighters are. They think, and they're underpaid, and that's a whole nother story. And people are like, I don't understand why more fighters don't ask for better pay. This is why. This dude is brainwashed that thinks he's being a company man by not taking the lawsuit money. He thinks that he's showing loyalty to the man by not taking this money that he's earned. That's how brainwashed a lot of these fighters are.
Let's face it, Brendan was kind of right, but obviously calling the guy stupid and brainwashed is not going to result in him calmly hearing you out. And when you come at somebody in that manner, you should expect a less than nice response back, particularly if you're Brendan Schaub, who has been dunked on by everybody from comedians, podcasters, fighters, and even his own friends. He's obviously aware of all the material that's on him out there because he's very sensitive to most of it being brought up. And yet he continuously puts himself in the line of fire as if unaware of how easy it is to dismantle him verbally.
I cannot articulate like that. I cannot say the things that I believe in because it's a 1 hour show and I have to be funny. You know, I have to be funny. I want to be funny.
Sure.
I'm speaking on my second language. And so that's why I can understand why the people clip and they say, hey, this guy is dumb, you know? And if you think yourself as dumb, think the people that watch the Brendan Schaub show on YouTube, the comedian, the special, that's terrible. Okay, brother? Even I can do better than that shit, brother. And I don't even speak English and I can be funnier than you, my brother.
So Papa catch it straight. Oh dear.
His straight to Schaub at the end was funnier than Bapa's entire comedy special, the most predictable response to the response that anybody could have seen coming from a mile away, except for Schaub himself, evidently, as he got triggered by what Moicano said and went into a rant on his podcast that might as well have been an insult to himself, because it made no sense whatsoever and was just overly emotional and stupid. There's just no other way of saying it. I mean, acting like you're being insulted for no reason after starting the whole thing while simultaneously simultaneously trying to make yourself look like you're some kind of an arbiter of media disagreements and also trying to seem chill about the situation when you're clearly bent out of shape about it is quite a mix, but it's par for the course for Schaub. And he started off with an autistic bang, trying to make a point that nobody ever contested about how it's not bullying when two fighters are arguing.
If we're from the same alumni or you're professional, well, now you got my attention, and because I'm not gonna come off as a bully there. Like with Nate Diaz, that's not bullying. He called me out. We're from the same fraternity. We can both fight. So if we fight, we both have a set of skills and we both agree to it. That's different than if you're just some schmuck at the bar. That's not cool. If a professional beats up a average Joe, that's bullying, and that's not the way to do things. But if you're from the same fraternity, the UFC fraternity, well, now we can both play in this game.
Schaub has been retired from fighting for over a decade, and I don't know why that would be relevant in the first place, as this is strictly a verbal disagreement. And he's acting like if some random guy at a bar said this, he would be the bully because he'd fight them? As far as I know, neither he or Moicano are planning on fighting each other or even being in the same room in the future, so I don't understand why anybody would view him as a bully. He's acting like the general public will feel like he's picking on somebody if he responds to them, which has literally never been the case. If anything, I've sometimes viewed him as the victim of bullying due to how often he gets viciously ridiculed, and I don't think I've ever seen him get anybody back successfully in the same manner. But he follows this up with another banger where he berates Moicano for responding too late, because apparently the situation is no longer on his radar, weirdly unaware of the fact that being in the middle of issuing a response to said situation immediately contradicts that statement. Then he tells Moicano that making fun of his special isn't original and he should get his handlers to write him better material, seemingly conflating stand-up comedy with just making fun of somebody in an interview. Moicano saying that Schaub is a terrible special and that he could do better despite not speaking English isn't some stage-ready bit. It's just funny as hell because it's true.
Buddy, you can't wait. No, hold on. You can't wait 10 days to respond. I don't know if it's a language barrier. I don't know if it's a translation thing where they have to figure out what I said. Either way, your handlers, you can't get back to me after 10 days. I've moved on. When someone and fans would hit me up like, oh, Moicano's taking shots, I went, what? Who? About what? I've moved. Dude, this is 10 years. It's like with Nate Diaz. It took him several days to respond, and all he said was, you'd be surprised. Well, first of all, I've already moved on in my life, dude. And second of all, that's not original. That's so weak. You're making a reference from 12 years ago. And your team, your handlers, that's what you got?
Now here's where Brendan really starts to lose his cool. He's trying to pretend like he's above the situation and that Moicano's insults are weak. The problem is that when he starts listing off these so-called weak insults, he starts getting upset because it becomes apparent that they're actually pretty funny, and even get a smirk out of his co-host Brian Callen. So he doubles down on Moicano not responding within the allotted time period in order to capture his attention, even though he's clearly very focused on the response as he's saying this. Then says that his team should have wrote him better material, which is perplexing because I can almost guarantee that Moicano does not have a writing team. He's not a comedian, but Schaub seems to be under the impression that this is some type of a roast battle. But even if it was, he would still be losing badly.
This is prototypical ChatGPT. How do I talk to Brendan Schaub? Here it is. He's dumb. He's a meathead. He's bad at podcasting. He was a bad fighter. If I post a truck, did you flip it? The standard, right? The standard. None of it's original. So his team put in ChatGPT. How do I talk to Schaub? Again, he's in Brazil, so I don't know. Maybe it's a translation issue.
Yeah.
If you think yourself as dumb, I never said I was dumb. I might call myself an idiot, but compared to him, I'm Elon Musk.
Well, he's not talking to you about that.
Think about my fans, which is, if you're listening to me, that means I'm dumb and he's dumb and the fans are dumb, right? And then he goes, Brendan Schaub's show on YouTube. Oh, it's a podcast, mainly audio. We do YouTube just for the of it.
So he
and
said,
the comedy
read
special.
the whole quote. Sorry.
Hold on. And the comedy special. Oh, you're talking about from 5 years ago?
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, again, if you were going to come with this rebuttal, you got to do it at least within 24 hours. Otherwise, I'm out, bud. I'm not going to play your game. But if you're going to wait a week, 10 days, however long this took to come up with this rebuttal, it has to be good. Then I'm like, all right, they took their time. They probably got some writers. Then I'm in.
Now, if you know Schaub, then you know that he would never finish a rant without more contradictions and a pretty epic self-own. So he proceeds to call Moicano a really smart guy, despite saying that he's so stupid that he might as well be Elon Musk compared to him 30 seconds prior. Then uses the old "you had to have another man help you respond" trope because he doesn't have his own podcast. But Moicano does have his own podcast. It's where Brendan got the original clip that he responded to from, and he gets comparable views to The Fighter and the Kid, despite the fact that Moicano just started it last year. So Schaub might want to utilize his own advice here and hire some writers to at least give him some bullet points that he can follow in order to make what he's saying sound coherent.
Again, I don't know Moicano, and I don't know how far the dollar goes in Brazil. Maybe he's set. Maybe he comes from family money. I think he was going to be a lawyer and dropped out of that to pursue fighting. So he's a smart dude.
Guy, yeah.
He's a very smart guy, and he's entertaining.
He's great.
And here's the other thing. If you're going to respond and then make fun of me, how no one watches my show, or I can't podcast, can't do this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But to get your message out, you have to go on another man's show to reach me. I sit down over there in a chair for the last 12 years and get my message out. And you saw it. It got to you. You have to call another grown man who's built their platform, and Nir Hawani has a big platform, just to reach me, but...
Look, I know it's tough to be Brendan Schaub. People hyper-analyze everything you do and say in order to dunk on you constantly. But knowing that should probably get him to work a little bit harder to avoid obvious pitfalls. Anybody could have predicted the way this ends after hearing his original response to Moicano, and I don't know why he wants to keep making people look great at his own expense. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support the channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.